Tonight on 7 News, a gang runs wild in Port Melbourne. Brave tradies help foil a daylight attack. A gun scare for shoppers at Dandenong Plaza. A father's heartfelt vow as star blue Elijah Hollands is admitted to hospital. Teachers set a date for their next strike. What families need to know. How much protein should you eat? The CSIRO's new advice. And the King's tribute to his mother on what would have been her 100th birthday.
Live from Melbourne, this is 7 News with Peter Mitchell.
Good evening. Violent thugs have run riot on Port Melbourne's busiest street, hunting down and attacking 2 unarmed men. The gang used a metal pole and a sledgehammer in the daylight ambush that could have been even worse if a hero tradie hadn't stepped in.
Through Port Melbourne, hooded thugs hang out the windows, headed for an ambush.
Oh my God.
Their targets, 2 young males, clearly scared, running for their lives. The attackers laugh. One victim begs for mercy, but he's punched, kicked, stomped, then struck with a metal bar. This gang of at least 6 is relentless and on an afternoon rampage. The other victim screams out as he's punched again, alerting a nearby tradie who answered their cries. That smash is the sound of a sledgehammer thrown at the gang's stolen SUV.
It looked like there were also some bricks that had been thrown at the car.
To try and stop these kids beating the other kids up. I mean, it was just hugely traumatic.
One teen even steals the sledgehammer before they all pile in and speed off. Their victims finally got away.
I need a hide. Please, I'm not here. Sorry, buddy. Please, no. Sorry, get out.
He was quite distressed, scared, fearful. I didn't buy it. I just said, get out of the shop.
It's scary to know that kids have the gall and the guts to do this.
Residents have praised the actions of this hero tradie who stepped in. If he didn't, they believe this brawl would have taken a far more violent turn.
I left South Africa to not go through the violence and the crime that I witnessed, and now it's right outside my front door in Australia, and I'm just traumatised.
By yet another gang of thugs on the run. Jordan Quinn, 7 News.
Terrified shoppers couldn't believe their eyes this morning when an armed man was spotted outside Dandenong Plaza. Police say he was carrying a fake gun. The 30-year-old of no fixed address was arrested, charged and is already back out on bail. Police say they've stepped up patrols in the area to reassure the community. The father of young Carlton star Elijah Hollands has penned a touching tribute to his son, who's tonight receiving treatment in a Melbourne hospital. WorkSafe is now also involved, confirming to 7 News it's looking into how the Blues handled Thursday night's episode at the MCG.
A father's love for his son in footy's most trying of circumstances. Ben Hollands today delivering a heartfelt message. This is my beautiful boy. For anyone in the midst of healing, you are loved. You have a unique and defined purpose. You are seen whole. Ben has been living with Elijah in recent times, now dealing with the fallout of his mental health episode that unfolded in front of close to 80,000 people in the middle of the MCG. I know who my son is, and I will lift him up until he is restored in full. Elijah last night taken to hospital via ambulance as the footy world comes to terms with what took place Thursday night.
Talk about trauma and things that are confronting. It's been confronting, and I think everyone at that football club just needs everyone's support.
Brother and teammate Ollie admitting it's been incredibly challenging to watch Elijah's battles, taking to Instagram. The amount of support that we have received has been overwhelming, and as a family, we will be forever grateful. 7 News revealing today WorkSafe is making its inquiries into the Blues' handling of the situation and just how the 23-year-old was left in a vulnerable state against the Pies. Carlton's investigations continue. Once complete, the AFL and Players Union will take over. Rival clubs desperate to ensure it never happens again.
We'll use this as a bit of a test case. Like, I'll go into the leaders' this week, and I'll put that on us. What would we do in this situation? Because it's incredibly tough.
And the prospect of an AFL mental health round has been a discussion point this week at League HQ. In recent years, there's been a push to have the annual Spuds game for men's mental health expanded into a full weekend. Bailey Smith putting it on the agenda again Friday night in an interview that now has more than 4 million views online. While the possibility of it happening this year might be too soon to action, a mental health round is sure to be a hot topic for next year. Peter?
Mitch Cleary, thank you. Melbourne socialite Bryn Edelsten has scored a win in court, successfully having her bail conditions eased. The former reality TV star was praised by the magistrate for her rehabilitation efforts, despite facing serious drug trafficking charges.
Are you planning to contest the charges?
We've got no comment to make at the moment, guys.
Edelsten will face court again in July. Melbourne's West is emerging as a key battleground in November's state election, with Jacinta Allen today pledging hundreds of millions of dollars in healthcare upgrades. But striking teachers are set to give the Premier a Term 2 headache.
Oh, little beautiful baby with all
Just 22 hours old, baby Triumph was irresistible to Jacinta Allen.
He's so beautiful.
The Premier also today gave a big but figurative cuddle to Melbourne's western suburbs, announcing almost $350 million to be spent on maternity and emergency upgrades at 3 hospitals in the area.
It's only Labor governments that invest in the western suburbs. A Liberal, National Party, One Nation, they're all about cuts and division.
Her big spending, part of next month's state budget, came with a clear target.
Families and working people in the western suburbs. Western suburbs are western suburbs.
It's Labor's traditional heartland and it's at risk. Labor retained its stranglehold on the West at the 2022 state election, but copped a massive hit in every seat. Last year, Werribee switched from safe to marginal in the most recent measure of shifting voter sentiment in the West.
Labor's vulnerable in some of those traditionally safe Labor seats at the moment. There's a manifest unhappiness and frustration with the way how government is going, and the government is obviously trying to repair that damage.
This just demonstrates that Labor knows they've neglected the West for a decade.
The government will soon have a fresh problem in Melbourne's West, with striking public school teachers targeting those suburbs, shutting schools down for half a day on the morning of May 6 as they fight for better pay.
We have the lowest paid teachers in the country, we have the lowest funded public schools, yet we have a government that likes to call Victoria the education state.
I'm advised that strong progress is being made.
Paul Dowsley, 7 News.
Chaos has unfolded in a car park at Epping TAFE, landing a 20-year-old pedestrian in hospital and a Mercedes driver in custody. Police say a fight broke out just after 11 this morning before a man jumped into his Mercedes and collided with the victim, then crashed into 2 parked cars and drove away. The 23-year-old driver from Thomastown handed himself in to police shortly after. Hundreds of desperate Melbourne families have queued for free food and fuel vouchers as the cost of living bites hard. Organisers of today's Bring Your Bill event say the need for help has never been this dire.
Just in the first hour, 500 people had poured in for help.
Essential workers, nurses, aged care workers, tradies who are coming for support.
Jen White is an aged pensioner facing homelessness.
I started working when I was 14. I had my first child at 19 and I've never been in this situation in my life.
She managed to get $10,000 worth of bills waived today. South East Community Links bringing banks, energy providers and telcos in to help hard-up customers.
I believe they'll wipe the debts and I'll probably be able to sleep tonight.
Tahira Kehadaram's husband lost his job. They're struggling to feed and clothe 3 children.
I'm paying my mortgage with my settling, that's it.
$100,000 in fuel and food vouchers were snapped up at the Pakenham event, and on the free food bus, dire need from grateful customers.
Sure.
Which one do you like?
Well, the food in here is nothing fancy. It's not a free-for-all either. This service is on restrictions as to how much they can give out because of shortages up the chain. It was a first-time visit for 75% of those there. The same amount had never asked their bill provider for help, and even more were from a multicultural background. And the warning is it will get worse.
My life in 30 years of doing this. Oh yeah, by a mile. This is worse than GFC. This is worse than COVID.
Laura Turner, 7 News.
Preparations are underway in Pakistan for a new round of ceasefire talks between the United States and Iran. US Vice President JD Vance is expected to depart Washington shortly, even though Tehran hasn't committed to attending as the clock ticks down to the end of the current deal.
On the streets of Islamabad, security is tight ahead of the next set of peace talks. Talks which may not happen. Iran's foreign ministry saying we have no plans for the next round of negotiations. Angry after US forces disabled and then seized one of its cargo ships near the Strait of Hormuz. Its chief negotiator accusing Donald Trump of violating the ceasefire. We do not accept negotiations under the shadow of threats. But US Vice President JD Vance is expected to travel to Pakistan tomorrow to lead the American delegation.
The fact that we're en route to Islamabad to do negotiations, I think privately the administration has got a head nod from them that they do want to talk.
With less than 48 hours until the ceasefire between the two sides expires, time is running out. President Trump says if a deal isn't signed, he's highly unlikely to extend that deadline, threatening lots of bombs.
President Trump likes to get instantaneous capitulation. That will never work with Iran, ever.
The president pushing back on claims he's feeling the heat, firing off a flurry of social media posts insisting he's under no pressure whatsoever to make a deal, although it will happen relatively quickly. And I'm winning a war by a lot. Things are going very well. If a deal happens under Trump, it will guarantee peace, security and safety.
He wants out, and he will find a way out. I think that will be unsatisfactory, but he'll declare victory and hope he can get away with it.
In the United States, Rob Scott, 7 News.
The Australian government is spending big on what it calls the future of warfare. 2 defence manufacturers have won contracts for counter-drones as part of a $7 billion project. It includes support for laser systems capable of interrupting swarms of drones, tech that's being likened to science fiction.
This has arrived today. Star Wars is happening right now in Australia.
Labor says it's a response to the rise in drone warfare in Ukraine and the Middle East. First it was Coles, now Woolworths has been taken to court accused of misleading customers with fake discounts on hundreds of items. The competition watchdog says there's a subtle magic involved, but the supermarket giant denies doing anything wrong.
Woolworths winning over customers.
We know what families go through, so we've dropped even more prices.
But in the federal court, legal action brought by the competition watchdog had this to say about Woolies marketing. The subtle magic of the prices dropped that draws the consumer in is to say the new stable price is lower than the old stable price. A string of Woolies groceries it's alleged offered for fake discounts. The case focuses on 12 items from biscuits to tissues whittled down from 266 goods, sold in the now discontinued Prices Drop campaign, products discounted but only after recent price hikes. One example, Tim Tams. For 21 months, Woolies charged $4.50. In October 2022, it jumped to $6. By month's end, it was marked Prices Dropped at $5.50, $1 more than the original price. But in court, questions over whether busy shoppers would spend any time analysing discount tickets, that the saving is fair dinkum, real, genuine. Woolworths says the price savings were not an illusion. At no stage did we mislead or deceive customers. Woolworths says the period in question was one of extraordinary inflation in the wake of COVID, when its customers were demanding value for money and its suppliers were struggling with rising costs. Last year, the supermarket giant posted a $1.4 billion profit. Chris Marr, 7 News.
Luke Beveridge jumped on the front foot today. Beck Maddern, the Dogs coach, is defending the handling of his injured star.
Yes, Peter, it centres around Sam Darcy. That is ahead. Plus, could the skipper be joining him on the sidelines? Also, Nick Dacos tells us his inspiration for Saturday's Anzac Day blockbuster. And some words of wisdom from the world's best sprinter passed on to our own Aussie sprint sensation. Plus, we hear exclusively from Zach Butters. Caroline Wilson will join me with her reaction on that.
OK, thank you very much indeed, Beck. Forget cash and jewels. Melbourne criminals are shifting their priorities to stealing board games and Pokemon cards. Details are next on 7 News. Also ahead, the trouble-plagued NDIS getting a major overhaul. The King's birthday tribute to his late mum. We're live to London. And later, how much protein in your diet is too much? We've gone to the CSIRO for the verdict. A Ravenhall collectibles shop owner has sprung into action making a citizen's arrest. He took down a 23-year-old man as the other crooks ran off with a $1,500 Pokemon card.
This is the best. This is the kicker. So one of the boys said, "Hey, what's that in his pocket?" I was like, "Oh, what you talking about?" We checked his pocket, a machete like this big.
Across town, the hunt continues for a board game bandit who broke into a Box Hill store 4 times, stealing $2,000 worth of items. The federal government is about to begin a major course correction for the NDIS to restore the disability scheme to its original purpose. Marred by funding blowouts and rorting, Labor is being urged to keep the focus on those who really need it.
A cruel neurological disorder changed Jeremy Hope's life. He says the NDIS saved it.
I wouldn't have a job. We wouldn't be able to maintain our mortgage. I wouldn't be able to support my family.
One of thousands of NDIS participants anxious tonight, waiting for Health Minister Mark Butler to tomorrow unveil the most comprehensive overhaul of the NDIS since it began 13 years ago.
It is a critical moment in the life and evolution of the NDIS.
The biggest expected change, mandatory registration for all NDIS service providers. Of 260,000, only 16,000 currently are.
They're not subject to oversight. We actually don't know the way in which they're operating.
Also expected greater controls on service quality, delivery and pricing. And for new entrants, tougher eligibility requirements. 7 News understands Mark Butler's central aim is returning the NDIS to its original purpose, supporting people with significant and permanent disabilities and reining in spiralling costs. $52 billion this year, growing at 10% annually, the aim 5 or 6%. One saving children with mild to moderate autism diverted to a new $4 billion program, Thriving Kids, jointly funded by the Commonwealth and states.
So we understand their ambitions to get those costs under control.
The Greens say they won't support any cuts, leaving the government needing the coalition's votes.
We will work with the government for any changes necessary to make the NDIS sustainable.
Mark Riley, 7 News.
The King has paid an emotional tribute to his late mother on what would have been her 100th birthday. Charles says Queen Elizabeth would be deeply troubled by the current state of the world.
4 years after the death of his mother, the memories came rushing back for the King. Her life celebrated through fashion at a Buckingham Palace exhibition and tonight via a special message from His Majesty.
God bless you, darling Mama. You remain forever in our hearts and prayers.
On what would have been Queen Elizabeth's 100th birthday, her reign stretching from black and white.
That my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service.
To bright colour, witnessing wars, crises and scandal. But the King concedes recent events would have tested Elizabeth.
Much about the times we now live in, I suspect, may have troubled her deeply. But I take heart from her belief that goodness will always prevail.
For so long, she remained the constant for so many, remembered by Charles for doing the job her way.
A smile, a kind word that lifted spirits, or for that marvellous twinkle of the eye when sharing a marmalade sandwich with Paddington Bear in the final months of her life.
I keep mine in here.
This skit recorded to mark the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. Elizabeth died at Balmoral, September 2022. Her long life still a guiding light.
The celebration of a life well lived and a legacy of hope as we strive together towards a better, happier tomorrow.
Hugh Whitfield, 7 News.
Live to Jacqueline Robson now outside the British Museum in London. And Jackie, what does the royal family have planned today?
Well, Peter, as royal fans mark what would have been Queen Elizabeth's 100th birthday, King Charles and Queen Camilla have one very important task here at the British Museum, viewing the final designs for a national memorial to commemorate Elizabeth's reign. It will include a statue of the Queen based on an acclaimed portrait when she was just 28. That painting by Italian artist Pietro Arnigoni was also used as an Australian stamp in 2006. The memorial will eventually be built in London's St James's Park. Also today, Princess Anne will officially open the Queen Elizabeth Garden in Regent's Park, and the King will host a special reception at Buckingham Palace later this evening. Peter?
Jacqueline Robson in London, thank you. Back home now, meteorologist Jane Bunn joins us. And Jane, today here in Melbourne was absolutely spectacular.
Oh, Mitch, it really was. It was a stunning fog at first, from the city to Altona to Moorabbin to Geelong. Thick and eerie as it settled in. But that didn't last long, clearing to bright blue skies, light northerly winds that jumped right up to 26.7. It is warm again tomorrow, but it won't be the clear blue of today. We have sheets of high cloud overhead. The next warm and sunny one is Thursday, as our stretch of exceptional weather continues. Mitch?
What a ride it's been. Unbelievable. Thank you, Jane. Brand new homes built in just 32 days. Next, we'll take you inside the Victorian company poised to reshape our housing market. Also ahead on 7 News, the latest on Japan's earthquake shock and tsunami warning. A BMW driver's wild run-in with the law at 230 k's an hour. And the new pride of Werribee Zoo on show to the public for the first time. Australia's housing crunch is heading head first into a tradie shortage. We need a record number of new homes, but there simply aren't enough workers to build them. Now, the fastest solution could come off a production line.
Up before dawn.
We've got a big day of work ahead of us.
And headed to work on a heritage home in Melbourne's west. It's a boom industry for the 2 million Australians who work as tradies.
And the sense of accomplishment you get from looking at something that you've built, knowing that people are going to create memories and are going to be able to live portions of their life in something that you've been a part of building.
But we don't have enough, and it's crushing the Australian dream. 18 months into the federal government's 5-year housing accord, already we're behind by 77,000 homes.
And we need between 80 and 100,000 additional workers if we are to build 1.2 million homes.
There's still a perception in modular that it's a 1970s classroom. And they're the stigmas that we really enjoy breaking.
James Briggs used to be a conventional builder. Now he's using those skills to craft a new range of prefabricated homes, offering buyers luxury and choice.
It takes us 32 days to complete a home.
His factory at Shepparton is one of 1,200 Australian companies manufacturing modular houses.
And when we say complete, when it goes to site, 1 or 2 days on site, and we're done.
Prefabricated homes account for 8% of Australia's construction industry, but will make up 30% within 7 years.
So James, how many homes can you build in here at one time?
So in this facility, we can actually build 32 homes at once.
The biggest challenge is council red tape.
Financing prefabricated homes can be harder too. Traditionally, lenders have required proof of progress, which can be difficult when a house is built in a factory, but specialist loans are making it easier.
Anything that can be done on site, we can do here in the factory.
Christy Mayer, 7 News.
And tomorrow night in our Home Truths series, Melbourne's Rent Wars, your guide to finding an affordable place to live. A driver has smashed into a roundabout and gone flying while trying to escape arrest in the UK. The man refused to stop for police, sparking a chase where he reached speeds of up to 230 kilometres per hour in a BMW. The 35-year-old admitted to dangerous driving while under the influence of drugs and alcohol. And a tsunami warning has been downgraded after a magnitude 7.4 earthquake struck off northern Japan. Waves of up to 3 metres were predicted when the tremor hit, shaking buildings in Tokyo, hundreds of kilometres away from the epicentre. Thousands of people fled to higher ground, but there were no reports of major damage. Melbourne's favourite feisty lion cubs are soaking up their first experience of the outside world. The 2-month-olds have left their private den and are now on public display, delighting animal lovers at Werribee Zoo.
A roaring reveal at the Werribee Open Range Zoo. Who have you come here to see today?
Lions.
The pride growing by 2, with 2-month-old brother and sister cubs making their public debut this morning.
They're just gorgeous. They're so lovely to watch, their antics and everything.
No surprises, they drew a huge crowd, all eager to see the 10-kilogram fluff balls.
They've got to get used to people, not just adults, but of all different sizes.
Sleeping in the sunshine, playing.
Little baby.
Pouncing and feeding.
He loves Ras. He calls him Ras, so we had to come and see the Ras for his birthday.
The little one's arrival vital for the breed, with only 23,000 African lions left across the sub-Saharan Africa due to habitat loss. The little ones will be named over the next few days by their keepers, who say they'll draw inspiration from the cubs' African heritage. A little camera shy today, keepers say that won't last long.
As the weeks go on, they'll start to spend more and more time outside, so throughout the day you'll get to see them, even if they're sleeping.
Memories their tiny fans will cherish forever, and Mum and Dad will hear on repeat.
And what sound do they make?
Wow.
Tyra Stowers, 7 News.
Sounded just like it. Now it's time for an update on Victoria's blood supply from Lifeblood. Multiple blood types are in demand this week. Only 7% of Australians have O-negative blood, and it's often used first in emergencies. Lifeblood needs more people to step forward to replenish levels. If you don't know your blood type, becoming a blood donor is the easiest way to find out. Search blood supply or visit lifeblood.com.au to book your donation. Melbourne vandals are facing a new crime crackdown. That's next. Also ahead on 7 News, the boss of Apple calls it quits, ushering in a new era for the global tech giant. What a crock. The restaurant intruder who gave diners an almighty fright. We're on the red carpet for the movie sequel premiere of the year. And straight after sport, how much protein in your diet is too much? The CSIRO has the answer. Opposition leader Jess Wilson is promising to lock up vandals who target war memorials and other statues. The Liberals' policy would ensure offenders face up to 10 years jail.
Since 2020, we've seen a situation where at least 18 of these situations have occurred across Victoria, yet no charges have been laid.
It's already against the law. The announcements today by the Liberal leader show that she either doesn't understand how the justice system works or she does, and it's all about chasing votes in Nepean.
The Liberals' pledge would also force offenders to cover the full cost of repairs. One of the most influential figures in modern technology is resigning. Tim Cook took over from Steve Jobs as Apple CEO more than a decade ago, turning the company into a $4 trillion powerhouse.
For 15 years, Tim Cook has been the steady hand at the helm of Apple.
Tim C.
core of the apple.
Now he's stepping down. It has been the greatest privilege of my life to be the CEO of Apple and to have been trusted to lead such an extraordinary company.
This marks the start of a new era.
He joined Apple in 1998 and took over from Steve Jobs in 2011, transforming the then $350 billion company into a $4 trillion powerhouse.
Advancements of this magnitude only come from making bold changes.
Under his leadership came the Apple Watch, AirPods, Vision Pro headset, money-making services like Apple TV Plus, and more than 40 models of the iPhone.
When we think of Steve Jobs, he really was the inventor. Tim Cook was the guy who really made Apple massive.
His successor is John Turnus, a 25-year company veteran who inherits Apple at its peak. Operating in more than 200 countries, Apple products are used by more than 2.5 billion people. Annual profit is more than $400 billion US.
John Turnus, though, we know is a hardware guy, so expect all that innovation to keep coming.
Cook starts his new job as the company's executive chairman in September. Georgia Holland, 7 News.
The fuel crisis isn't stopping the battle for your domestic travel dollar. Qantas is offering more than 2 million discounted seats, with one-way fares starting from just $99. Travellers can pick from dozens of destinations across 90 domestic routes. Meanwhile, Virgin Australia is rolling out fares as low as $55. Diners at a restaurant in Zimbabwe got a massive shock when a huge crocodile casually walked in. The 12-foot-long reptile climbed onto a counter before settling on a sofa like it owned the place. Rangers were called in to guide the gatecrasher back to the river, but the croc was having none of it and had to be tied up. And the stars of the most anticipated movie sequel of the year have stunned on the red carpet in New York for the world premiere of The Devil Wears Prada 2. Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, Emily Blunt and Stanley Tucci wore outfits by leading designers including Louis Vuitton, with the styles blending power suits and devil-inspired haute couture. The Devil Wears Prada 2 hits cinemas next week. Beck's back with sport now, and Beck, the Bulldogs captain, is racing the clock.
Yes, certainly, Peter. Marcus Bontempelli wasn't looking good at training this morning, just 2 days out from their clash with the Swans. But there was a surprise guest to help motivate the injury-hit Dogs. Also, how Nick Dacos is leaning on his legendary dad ahead of the Anzac Day blockbuster. The Port Star on the attack after being cleared. Caroline Wilson joins us to discuss. And Usain Bolt's warning to our Aussie sprint sensation. Welcome back. Luke Beveridge has shot down suggestions that Sam Darcy's season-ending knee injury is linked to a similar mishap last year. The Dogs are sweating on the fitness of a host of stars, but they will unveil third-year ruckman Lachlan Smith against the Swans on Thursday night.
A new recruit at the kennel. The Dogs inviting one loyal fan into the inner circle for a much-needed pump-up after a tough week. Sam Darcy is awaiting surgery on his ACL, ruled out for the year, with Luke Beveridge today shutting down suggestions the injury had anything to do with his previous history.
Just a jarring bone bruising, hyperextension last year. No, one's got nothing to do with the other.
Several stars are racing the clock to be fit this weekend. Skipper Marcus Bontempelli leaving the track early after a light session with a heavily strapped knee. Ed Richards and Rory Lobb joined him in the rehab group, while Aaron Norton's battling through a hand injury.
There's a couple of boys who are a little bit sore, and ultimately they'll play if there's no risk.
Ruck Tim English won't make his return from a knee issue, making the job against Sydney's Brodie Grundy much harder.
Whether it would have been Tim or not, he's got most ruckman's measure at the moment.
The calibre of that list and squad is really deep, and we expect them at their best.
The Dogs started the season with 4 straight wins. A loss this week would mark 3 in a row.
Been sat on our by 2 pretty good sides. We've spun out of that. By the time we get to the game in 2 days' time, we'll be ready to play.
Kate Massey, 7 News.
Nick Dacos concedes Collingwood has its work cut out to be a top 4 contender. This week, he'll be leaning on some advice from his dad, Peter, in the Anzac Day blockbuster against the Bombers.
A moment to pay his respects before the chaos of the Anzac Day match erupts.
We know we represent so many when we play on a day like Anzac Day, and we just want to do those people proud.
Nick Dacos broke the game apart in the last quarter against Carlton. He booted an early goal and set up 2 more, demonstrating his contested marking capacity and precision kicking.
I love playing up forward, and I feel like it gives us a different look as a team, and also allows more players to roll through the midfield for us.
After all, it's only natural to see the number 35 producing front half magic for the Pies.
I get a lot of forward craft from Dad, and I love it. I think anytime I watch his highlights, he was an amazing forward, such good craft. He's one of the smartest football people I've come across, so I'm very lucky to have him in my corner.
Dacos admits the Pies aren't quite where they want to be.
6 rounds through, we probably haven't shown enough consistency to warrant being a top 4 lock, that's for sure.
But we'll go into Saturday as red-hot favourites, despite Essendon turning its form around in the past fortnight. Joe Caldwell revealing that teammate Sam Durham has driven a lift in morale.
He does a little spill before we run out, which is cool each week. Probably need to change it up a little bit, but...
Get a bit of inkling?
Nah, I can't say it. No, not working. It's a bit of a piss take, but it's good. It gets the boys up and about.
Xander Maguire, 7 News.
Port Adelaide star Zach Butters says he's disappointed his integrity was questioned by the AFL. The midfielder won his appeal last night for umpire abuse due to an error of law. Juror Jason Johnson listened to part of the initial hearing while driving his car, which constituted a miscarriage of justice.
What's it been like having your integrity questioned? Yeah, it's been a bit disappointing and frustrating, but I guess that's what unfolded, and yeah, that's what we have to do to sort of get it done.
All right, and Seven's Caroline Wilson joins me now. Caro, how embarrassing is this whole saga for the AFL?
Well, it is a mess. It could be exposed again on Thursday night when St Kilda's Lance Collard has his appeal heard. Hard to believe, but we're still talking about an incident that happened over Gather Round. Hard to believe that Jason Johnson is going to continue as a panellist after his performance. And as I said, the AFL are agreeing the system needs to be reviewed. This could have been handled so much better.
All right. Now, you've got some details on a premiership cat whose career is at the crossroads.
Yeah, as revealed last night, Tyson Stengel has only had sporadic contact with his footy club. He's in Adelaide, and senior cats will try and talk to him, communicate with him when they travel for the Port Adelaide game this weekend. There's a backstory, an unfortunate backstory to this, and we'll be exploring that on Agenda Setters tonight.
OK, Caroline, and one final one for you today. You've got exclusive details on the season opener next year.
It won't be Richmond Carlton. That almost 2-decade tradition, for the best part of 20 years it's been going on, won't be at the MCG on the season opening Thursday night, which will be March 18. I think the AFL are looking at a premiership, a grand final rematch instead.
OK, interesting. All will be uncovered tonight on the Agenda Setters. Look forward to it. Thank you so much, Caroline Wilson.
Good to chat, Beck.
8-time Olympic gold medalist Usain Bolt has shared some words of wisdom for Gout, encouraging the Aussie sprint sensation to keep his eyes on the prize.
At that young age, because I was there, you start getting pulled left and right, and then you forget track and field. So hopefully he has the right set of people who actually help to guide him and to keep him focused on track and field, because the rest of the stuff will always be there. But if you mess up at track and field, then it all goes away.
Gout smashed Bolt's under-20 200-metre mark at the Australian Athletics Championships. Wise words from Usain Bolt. If
Good
you
to get
don't
a bit of
focus on the
advice.
business, none of the other business comes with it.
Listen to the legends.
Exactly.
Thank you very much indeed, Beck. A new report from Australia's National Science Agency has revealed most of us are getting enough protein in our diets, but not in a way that's better for our health. The CSIRO says the focus must be on eating protein throughout the day and choosing whole foods over processed products.
Protein is trending. Supermarket shelves are packed with products promising special health benefits.
One of my favourite snacks, high protein pudding.
But new research from the CSIRO suggests Australians may be missing the point.
Often people are making a lot of mistakes when it comes to protein.
Dietitians stress it's better to spread protein across daily meals and stick to real foods rather than ultra-processed high protein products.
Aiming for that 25 to 30 grams of protein per main meal. And this what can help you feel fuller for longer, can help reduce cravings, and can also help people retain muscle mass as well.
So what does that look like? For women, it's 2 eggs at breakfast, a chicken salad for lunch, fish or meat for dinner. For men, about the same, just a larger serve of meat. 62-year-old Mary McConnell started the CSIRO Total Wellbeing Diet after struggling with her weight during menopause.
Tried a few different things to try and shift it, and nothing worked.
She's lost 15 kilos. A former bodybuilder, she knows the value of protein in her diet.
Because if you don't have the muscle, I don't want to become a frail old lady. I really want to stay strong and stay fit.
The CSIRO says protein needs vary depending on age, weight and health goals. That's why they've launched a new online calculator to help Australians work out how much protein they actually need,
rather than sticking to any trends or general advice.
It's free to use. Jennifer Beshwadi, 7 News.
Jane's back now with the forecast. And Jane, this exceptional stretch of weather continues.
Rich, it is remaining warm for the rest of the week and into the weekend too. And on tonight's bright side, a warm welcome to a cafe with a difference.
On 7 News, stopping the spread, the incredible technology keeping surfaces germ-free.
This is one of the first able to kill viruses.
How it could keep you safe on 7 News, tomorrow at 6. Tonight's 7 News cruise code word is explore. Enter now at 7news.com.au/sailaway for your chance to win a 4-day cruise for 2, thanks to Carnival Cruise Line. Be watching tomorrow night for another chance to win.
Hello again. The warm weather is set to stick with us. An exceptional stretch of weather. It was an eerie sight from the city to Geelong as fog crept in overnight. Now, you didn't have to go high to see that it wasn't going to last, clearing early to bright sunshine. The bay is calm. Our winds are a light northerly. It jumped right up to 26.7. It's not often this late in April that it's still 22 degrees out there now after a stunning sunset. Those light northerlies brought most suburbs into the mid to high 20s. Warmest in Laverton, near 30 degrees. That wind direction crosses water in the southeast, so it's the low 20s there. The fog stretched from Melbourne to the southwest coast, with pockets in Gippsland all quickly clearing to sunshine. Then just a weak field of cumulus surrounded by bright blue. It reached 30 in the northwest, low 20s in Gippsland in light onshore winds. High pressure has moved to our east and there it will stay. That positioning puts us on its warm side. It acts like a block, like a stop sign, not letting any weather system move through. Tomorrow's cold front will just slide on down and the high really cements itself over the Tasman Sea to end the week. It's strong, it is broad, bringing us an exceptional stretch of weather. As we can't get low pressure through, it isn't cooling down. The warm days stick with us. In Melbourne, that's tops in the mid-20s each and every day. Continues on Saturday too. It may change on Sunday. Around the nation tomorrow, mostly dry in Brisbane, isolated showers in Sydney. It's nicer in Melbourne thanks to the positioning of that high. Showers brush Hobart later with that sliding front. To Victoria, sheets of high cloud spread through, so the patches of fog are only in the east tomorrow morning. A bit more cloud comes into the southwest corner, a local spit of light rain at the coast with that sliding front, but that's it. Most are completely dry. We remain mild to warm. Closer in, not as clear blue tomorrow thanks to sheets of high cloud overhead, but it's still warm in a moderate northerly. The city is 24 under high cloud, letting lots of sunlight through. To the 8-day outlook, the next clear and warm day is Thursday, very similar to today, but without the fog. So bright blue, a top of 26, light winds. It should be absolutely gorgeous. 25 on Friday and Saturday, a bit of high cloud does return. On Sunday, there is the chance of showers moving through from the afternoon into Monday morning. It's a very weak change if it comes through, then we may actually warm back up once again. Tomorrow, top of 24, not quite as clear as today, with sheets of high cloud. Then the next warm and sunny one with light winds, that's on Thursday. Now to tonight's bright side. At the Welcome Place Cafe in Frankston, the welcomes are as warm as the coffees.
What a great job, Angelica.
The RSL serves morning tea for veterans twice a week. But it's not just about what's on the plate, rather who's serving it. The club joining forces with a local disability employment provider.
The veterans, they're very friendly. It's very cool to talk to them.
Mitch, the cafe has been running for 6 months now. It's open on Wednesdays and Fridays for veterans.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
Thank you very much, Jane. Now, here's what's on Sunrise in the morning.
Thanks, Mitch. Tomorrow on Sunrise, the wait is over. Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway in a Devil Wears Prada breakfast TV event.
Yeah, wait till you see the special gift to the megastars and their big reaction. See you in the morning, Melbourne.
And that's the way it is this Tuesday, the 21st of April. Thanks for your company. For now, from the 7 News team, good night.